Hello and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you all the latest news and updates from the country and the world in just 30 minutes. Let's begin. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in India's decade Chips for Viksit Bharat and laid the foundation stone of 3 semiconductor projects worth about 1.25 lakh crore rupees. India's semiconductor mission has been set up to create an end-to-end semiconductor ecosystem to enable India to lead global semiconductor industry. Prime Minister said that today India is the second largest mobile manufacturer. Talking about National Quantum Mission (NQM), Prime Minister said that there is going to be a rapid expansion of the India AI mission. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that the day is not far when India will become a global power in semiconductors as well, and chip manufacturing is not just an industry, it opens the door to development. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday launched PM Suraj portal and sanctioned credit support to 10 million entrepreneurs of disadvantaged sections across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also distributed Ayushman health cards and PPE kits to sanitation workers under Namaste scheme during a nationwide outreach program. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has approved a proposal for expansion of National Cadet Corps or NCC with the addition of 3 lakh cadet vacancies. From just 20,000 cadets in the year 1948, the NCC will now have a sanctioned strength of 20 lakh cadets in its roles, making it the largest uniformed youth organization of the world. The Indian government has approved the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between India and Bhutan on extending cooperation in the field of energy efficiency and energy conservation measures. The Union Cabinet also gave its approval on signing of MOU between India and Bhutan on general supply of petroleum, oil, lubricants and related products. India's President Draupadi Murmu held delegation-level talks with the Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Kumar Jugnauth on Wednesday. He signed 4 MOUs. India's President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister of Mauritius jointly and virtually inaugurated 14 small development India-assisted projects. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar met the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister of New Zealand, Winston Peters, making it his first visit after the formation of the new government. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on Tuesday. Both the leaders expressed satisfaction on the progress made under Roadmap 2030 in diverse areas including trade, investment, defence, security, emerging technologies and others. Following Supreme Court's order, the State Bank of India handed over all the records related to the electoral bonds to country's Election Commission. The Union Cabinet, chaired by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, approved 2 new corridors of Delhi Metro's Phase 4. The Cabinet also approved intergovernmental framework agreement between India and the UAE on cooperation for the empowerment and operation of the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. In the North Indian state of Haryana, state government tabled a confidence motion in the Assembly to prove its majority in the House and win the trust vote. India's President Draupadi Murmu gave her assent to the Uniform Civil Code of Uttarakhand 2024 bill on Wednesday that proposes common rules on marriage, divorce, inheritance of property and relationship for all citizens irrespective of their religion. Billionaire entrepreneur and Tesla boss Elon Musk arrived at the U.S. electric car maker's Germany plant outside Berlin on Wednesday. Tesla's plant in Grünheide was down since the 5th of March attack. The 5th SEBI-NISM Research Conference on Sustained Capital Formation, The Way Forward, took place in Indian state of Maharashtra. The Chief Economic Advisor to the Government of India, V. Anantanageswaran, addressed the event. It was a sea of red on India's Dalal Street on Wednesday as investors look forward to cover in a broad-based sell-off. The BSE Sensex plunged 906 points to end at 72,762 levels. The Nifty broke below 22,000 mark to end at 21,998 points, down 338 points. The Indian rupee fell 5 paise to settle at 82.85 against the US dollar on Wednesday. Toyota Motors agreed to provide its factory workers with their largest salary hike in 25 years, raising hopes for a significant policy adjustment by the Japanese central bank in the upcoming week. Argentina faces its worst economic crisis in decades, battling triple-digit inflation despite austerity measures, with annual inflation forecasted to remain above 250%. U.S. stock indices surged on Tuesday after the release of inflation data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 235.74 points to 39,005.4. The S&P 500 gained 57.3 points at 5,175.24. And the Nasdaq Composite added 246.36 points. Lawmakers, TikTok creators and supporters argued against the potential ban on TikTok in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, with the House vote scheduled under fast-track rules on Wednesday. An International Monetary Fund mission is set to arrive in Pakistan on Thursday for a second and the last review of a $3 billion standby arrangement. In U.S. elections, President and former President Donald Trump have secured their respective party nominations for this year's 5th of November general election. Biden surpassed that delegates' number on Tuesday night as results began to come in from the primary contest in Georgia. Biden faced only token opposition in the Democratic primary campaign. Trump also secured the Republican presidential nomination as 4 states held contests, including Georgia. The outcome of Tuesday's voting was essentially predetermined after Nikki Haley ended her presidential campaign last week. Lawmakers in the U.S. grilled the former special prosecutor who investigated President Joe Biden's handling of classified documents in Congress on Tuesday. Robert Yeo was challenged by both political parties over his report's conclusion that Biden did keep some documents, but a jury would unlikely find him guilty of doing so willfully. Voting in the Russian presidential election will start on Friday. For the first time, voting period is extended to 3 days from 15th till the 17th of March. For the first time since 2008, 4 candidates are vying for the presidency, including incumbent Russian President Vladimir Putin, Leonid Slutsky, Vladimir Divankov, and Nikolai Kharitonov. It is also the first time that nearly 5 million Russian civilians will vote on an electronic voting system. Preliminary results of the election could be announced on Friday evening. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday has said that Russia would be ready to use nuclear weapons if its sovereignty was threatened. Putin said that the United States understands that if it deploys American troops in Russian territory or to Ukraine, Russia would treat the move as an intervention. The United States will send a new military aid package for Ukraine worth $300 million, which is the first such move in months as additional funds for Kyiv remains blocked by Republican leaders in Congress. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the funding was coming from unanticipated cost savings from Pentagon contracts and would be used for artillery rounds and munitions for high-mobility artillery rocket systems. A ship carrying 200 tons of aid for Gaza left Cyprus on Tuesday in a pilot project to open a sea corridor to deliver supplies. Cyprus is just over 200 miles northwest of Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated on Tuesday that Israel would press forward with its military campaign into Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip. Netanyahu's comments came as European Union leaders urged Israel not to launch a ground operation in Rafah, according to draft conclusions of an upcoming summit scheduled for the 21st and 22nd of March. The head of the United Nations nuclear watchdog, Prasar Bharati, said he supports Japan's push to hold summit talks with North Korea, even if discussion about Pyongyang's nuclear build-up is initially off the table on Tuesday. Prasar Bharati is in Japan to inspect the Fukushima nuclear plant, where the IAEA is helping oversee the release of treated wastewater into the ocean. Bharati last inspected the plant in July last year. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said on Tuesday that although they have not rejected China's maritime proposals, but it was difficult to see a way forward. He was speaking during his working visit to Germany. The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs said that the several maritime-related proposals from China were against country's national interests. A massive explosion rocked another town in China on Wednesday, in which one person was killed and 22 others injured, suspected to have been caused by a gas leak. Rescue work is underway. Resignation of Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry has opened a new path for the Caribbean island that has been plunged into a spiral of violence and instability over the past few weeks. The decision comes after several Caribbean leaders gathered in Jamaica in order to find a peaceful resolution to the country's political and social crisis. The United States expects members of Haiti's Presidential Transition Council to be appointed in the next 24 to 48 hours. Sudan's army have recaptured the state corporation for the television and radio in Omdurman on Tuesday. This is a symbolic victory for the army in its 11th-month civil war. Rescue teams searched waters in central Indonesia on Wednesday for 24 fishermen out of 37 who are missing since their boat sank on the weekend. 2 crew members were found dead and 11 survivors spotted by fishermen on Tuesday. An Italian high-tech firm, Iron Lev, has conducted its first test of magnetic levitation transport on an existing railway track. The technology has the potential to reduce costs and energy use. The European Union has chosen to regulate artificial intelligence models on the basis of their potential risk. European lawmakers voted on AI regulation today. Italian government is mulling over a prison crackdown that would make even peaceful protests a criminal offence and could double the jail time of inmates. Spanish police have arrested 6 suspects in the robberies of the Madrid homes of 8 wealthy individuals, including a top soccer player, Radamel Falcao and Rodrigo. 10 watches, jewellery, €3,300 in cash and 2 air pistols have been seized so far. Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda secured vote of confidence for the 3rd time. He won 157 votes in favour, while 110 lawmakers stood against. Intense rains in the early hours of Tuesday caused flash floods and disrupted air traffic as the Argentine capital region issued an orange alert for bad weather. Drone views showed the magnitude of the downpour as streets in Avellaneda city, the Buenos Aires province, looked like rivers on the road. France's Mont Saint-Michel was surrounded by the waters of the English Channel on Tuesday as the tide reached its highest point this year. Weather in India is likely to be affected by western disturbances in the coming days, bringing rainfall, snowfall and hailstorms, particularly in North India, including Delhi, according to the Indian Meteorological Department. IMD has forecasted light rainfall over West Bengal and Sikkim until the 14th of March and later on the 16th, while the Gangetic West Bengal region is expected to witness light rainfall until the 17th of March. Ecuadorian indigenous communities marched into Quito, demanding the government to comply with court orders to halt gas flare usage in the Amazon. Methane emissions from the fossil fuel industry remain near record highs in 2023, according to a report by the International Energy Agency. Over 120 million metric tons of methane was put into the atmosphere last year. Energy workers in Singapore received hands-on training with a power plant simulator developed collaboratively by 6 power generation companies over 5 years. Wildlife conservation personnel in southwest China's Yunnan province captured footage of wild Asian elephants enjoying a group lunch and a refreshing dip. Archaeologists have discovered golden coins and artifacts estimated to be 2,000 years old at the Tel Abraq archaeological site in the UAE. Around 70 elephants in Thailand's ancient city of Ayutthaya enjoyed a special fruit feast to celebrate National Elephant Day on Wednesday, accompanied by traditional ceremonies performed by Buddhist monks. Local and international volunteers were invited to participate in offering 10 tons of fruits and vegetables to the giant mammals, fostering an understanding of the strong connection between Thais and domesticated elephants. Sweden's King Carl XVI and Queen Sylvia visited the Mexican Senate on Tuesday. The monarch expressed his fascination towards Mexico and highlighted the importance of collaboration between both the countries in different areas. Swedish's King and Queen will also meet with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. They are expected to travel to the Yucatan Peninsula later in the week and marking the royal's third official visit to Mexico. New York City's Whitney Museum of American Art will showcase the nation's top artists in a recurring exhibition opening the 20th of March. Firefighters and veterinarian staff successfully rescued a 10-year-old horse in California, declaring it healthy and unharmed. South African conservation group Africa Park plans to rewild 22,000 white rhinos over the next 10 years across various protected areas in Africa. Residents near Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano honored it with an annual ceremony of indigenous music, prayers and offerings on Tuesday. An Italian company conducted its first test of magnetic levitation transport on an existing railway track, aiming to reduce its cost and energy use. Devotees thronged the Lord Ram temple in North Indian city of Ayodhya, with hundreds of thousands visiting daily, according to the authorities. Music icon Lenny Kravitz unveiled his new star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Tuesday. Fans, family and friends came out on a sunny Los Angeles day to celebrate the four-time Grammy Award winner. Actor Zoe Kravitz, Lenny's daughter with actor Lisa Bonet and Oscar-winning actor Denzel Washington took to the stage to share a moment Kravitz called surreal. Netflix's adaptation of the Japanese manga One Piece live action is set to return with a sequel in the summer of 2025. Critics' Choice Award 2024, honouring the best of Indian films, web and short films, took place in Mumbai on Tuesday. Vidhu Vinod Chopra's 12th Fail was awarded Best Film at the Critics' Choice Awards, while its lead actor Vikrant Massey won an award for Best Actor. The third installment of the Tom Hardy-led Venom franchise is set to hit the silver screens in October this year with a fresh title called Venom: The Last Dance. Shaitan, starring Ajay Devgan, Jyotika and R. Madhavan, crossed 60 crore at the domestic box office, with global collections reaching 88 crore rupees. South Indian superstar Ram Charan's wife Upasana shared glimpses of a family visit to the newly inaugurated Ram Temple in Ayodhya on her social media platforms. The makers of the Hindi film Crew released a new song titled Khagra, an updated version of the hit Ila Arun song from the 1990s. Arun Govil, known for his role as Ram in Ramanand Sagar's Ramayan, suggested Ranbir Kapoor would be apt to play the legendary character in a film based on the epic mythology directed by Nitesh Tiwari. Indian off-spinner Ravichandran Ashwin regained top spot in ICC men's test bowling rankings after his stellar performance in 100th test match. Australian bowler Elisa Perry created history in ongoing Women's Premier League by taking first ever 6-wicket haul in WPL. Veteran pacer James Anderson says he is in the best shape of his life ahead of the England's home series against West Indies. Barcelona reached the Champions League quarterfinals for the first time in 4 years with a thrilling 3-1 home victory against Napoli. Arsenal also made it to the Champions League quarter-final round for the first time in 14 years, beating Porto in a penalty shootout after a tense duel that had ended at 1-1. Spanish club Atletico Madrid will host Italian Inter Milan in the Champions League last 16 leg on Wednesday, having lost a close opener in Milan by 1-0. Borussia Dortmund will take on PSV Eindhoven in Champions League last 16 second leg. The first leg resulted in a 1-1 draw. Al Hilal on Tuesday broke the world record for most consecutive wins, wrapping up a place in the Asian Champions League semi-finals as a 2-0 victory over Al Ittihad, completing a 4-0 aggregate victory. Carlos Alcaraz beat Fabian Muratsin by 6-3 and 6-3 to make it to the Indian Wells quarter-final round. And Lima, Peru's capital, will host the Pan American Games in 2027 following a vote that ruled out Paraguayan capital Asuanson's bid. And with this, it's a wrap here on Express News for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.